Mridul Mishra, who works as a Vice President with Fidelity Investments India. Hello Mridul, welcome to Analytics Insight. It's a pleasure having you here.
Hello Satavisa, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Now, I'm really interested to know about your personal journey in leading the data science team at Fidelity.
Absolutely. So my journey in Fidelity started around 10 years back, where I joined one of the enterprise technology groups. I started leading the data science team around 5 years back, but my journey on the whole data science area started from college. One of my earliest projects as part of my engineering days was using artificial neural networks, which became deep learning a few years later. In this journey at Fidelity, I have also looked at different trends which has come in terms of how AI will impact our life. We have been able to solve multiple of these problems in Fidelity. We have been able to look at customer support. We have been able to look at how AI is impacting in terms of picking the stocks. Overall, in this journey, I have had some great learnings about where AI can help. And maybe I will just go ahead and talk about what have been my learning in this journey also. So overall, AI has been delivering a lot of value to enterprises as well as to the general public. And most of us in our daily life uses some kind of AI in our mobile apps, whether it is the photos which are recognizing faces, whether it is Google Maps or searches or the voice assistant which we have at home. But at the same time, a lot of news also comes about how something like AlphaGo is playing the game better than human, or AlphaCode is automating the code, or protein folding has been done. So there is a lot of great progress which has been made in AI over the last many years now. And it has become kind of part of our day-to-day job, which is impacting our daily life. Having said that, because I've been in the industry long enough, I have also seen the kind of hype which was there around it. I was there when the deep learning was coined by Jeff Hinton in around 10 years back in 2012. And I still remember how some of these things, especially in the healthcare industry, were supposed to be transformed completely. And the expectation was that healthcare will be completely driven by AI systems of certain companies. Autonomous cars will be here, not so easily in Bangalore traffic, but at least in more structured roads. What we see, and last year was a great example in the time of pandemic, that a lot of those promises which were made in terms of the healthcare industry being replaced by AI or autonomous cars driving us are taking a lot longer. And some of these problems are possibly more difficult than what people thought initially will be there. I specifically was looking at one of the surveys which was done by McKinsey around impact which organizations are seeing with AI. It's low single-digit adoption in terms of revenue increase is what they're saying. So overall, there has been great progress made from AI. They are impacting our day-to-day life, but somewhere the marketing of it has gone little ahead of the promise which it delivered. In a lot of ways, AI is still working like AI training is working like training the dog type of stage. It is not. It can follow the command if you show it enough example, if you provide enough incentives, but it is not necessarily understanding the rules. It is still very much responding to the data which has been given. So when we get into a new scenario like what happened in the COVID time when the data was not available, the kind of impact felt like it needs to get better. So in a way, AI has delivered, but there is a lot of way to go, which I'm quite hopeful it will be able to do over the next few years.
That sounds really interesting. Now, I'm curious about what was Fidelity's journey in using AI, ML, and big data analytics.
Absolutely. So Fidelity is a very interesting company in a way that we are a privately owned company, and our founder, uh, the current CEO, the Johnson family, has been very clear from last 75 years that we as an organization believe in taking intelligent risk instead of following crowd. So we have been on this journey for many years now. We have dedicated teams which have been working onto it. And in our journey, what we have realized also is that there are very broad areas where we have seen value being delivered. Customer service is a great area. Whether it is customer service in terms of calls which we are getting from our millions of customers, or any kind of request which we are getting in terms of processing certain transactions, there is a significant role which AI is playing in all of them, how they get handled. We also are seeing the value which in our investment process we have been able to deliver it using AI, whether it is how we invest money in different asset classes, or how do we go to the market and execute our transactions. AI is playing a significant role. And one thing more which I will go ahead and possibly add is the Fidelity India is playing a significant role in the overall journey for Fidelity. Maybe an example will be that one of the product which is being built, which is primarily driven by AI, is called Safer, and which is completely the data science part of it is being done out of India. That project is very interesting from the perspective that it is on the regulatory technology space, and it looks at not only the text but video and tries to find out if there is any kind of regulatory red flags which will be there. So the great example of NLP and how AI can help. So overall, Fidelity has been doing a lot into it. Fidelity India has been contributing a lot in that Fidelity journey. We have more than 300 analytics and data science professionals who have been working in India office for more than 10 years now, delivering these value.
It's amazing. Now I would like to ask you how business value is being delivered by using AI and ML in this current scenario.
Absolutely, yeah. So maybe I'll take a few specific examples in terms of where the value is being delivered. So one of the example will be where I think there is a lot of progress we have seen is in terms of the intelligent call routing part of it. And what happens is that if somebody is browsing on our website and end up calling our call center, we do have our AI engine which figure out where you were in the journey and guide you to the right customer agent, saving frustrating minutes being held, but also giving better efficiency in terms of executing that call. Now that all is possible because we are able to identify using NLP what user was doing and then link it to him calling that. We have also seen a lot of value coming out of fairly complex risk and compliance processes, and we are a fairly large financial services company which has to be responsible to multiple regulators globally, and the risk and compliance cost have been increasing significantly. And that's an area where we have seen a lot of value being delivered using AI and ML technologies we have used. Considering we are a fairly large investment management company also, we have seen a lot of value being delivered in terms of looking through broad information which is available on the internet now, or social media, and trying to figure out what might be interesting ideas which we should be pursuing a lot further in terms of investment opportunities. So we have seen that also as an area where AI has delivered value. We have seen that the process itself, because of the AI availability, has started changing. Earlier, because of lack of these technology and processing power, the best we could do is we could sample rather than execute it on the whole available data set. Example will be like if you were looking for any suspicious mail, nobody could read through all of it because it was being done manually. They will sample certain mail, look at it, and if there is something wrong, then somebody will follow that through. But because of AI technologies being available, rather than sampling that, we can look at all the communication which is happening. We can not only look at the text communication, we can look at the audio communication, and we can also look at it in more real time. So something which was manual would have taken somebody to look at it and come back after a few days, versus some of these technologies are allowing it to happen at a broader scale in near real time.
That sounds great. Now, if you can give me your opinion on the emerging trends in this area, and what do you think is the future of this sector?
Absolutely. I think it's a very exciting area, Satavisa. So one thing which we have learned and which a lot of industry also calls it as a Moravec's paradox is that there is the way we should look at complexity is very different for computers versus human. Something which adult human consider complex doesn't necessarily need to be complex, like linear algebra or playing chess or playing Go. Those problems have been solved by computers, and assuming that just because computers can do difficult things which humans consider difficult doesn't mean they can do simple things easier. What an infant can do or what a kid can do is not necessarily easier for computers. Computers still find it difficult to distinguish between a hot coffee and a cold coffee or move flawlessly. So what we realize is that how we should look at difficult problems should not be how we perceive difficulty per se. The areas where we have started looking more in terms of emerging trends, certainly deep learning has been playing a key role in our application of AI/ML. Whether it is the NLP or NLT area in terms of natural language or the computer vision, a lot of use cases which we have seen has been using that particular technology. The only thing with that is that the deep learning requires a lot of data. And in the kind of industry which we have, the data availability sometimes become a challenge. So most of the areas which we have been looking at in terms of emerging trend has been to see, having the same level of accuracy, can we use more newer techniques like self-supervised learning, which even having lesser number of labeled data, can they give a similar result? We've also been kind of very interested in what has been coming around in terms of data-centric AI, where data takes a central role in terms of, rather than the volume of data, quality of data becomes important, where smaller data sets are very useful and critical. Couple of specific technologies which we have been interested and have been looking at it very closely in terms of how they can either start impacting our processes now or in near future is around the reinforcement learning and the graph machine learning part of it. Those are showing tremendous potential from moving from classical machine learning to different ways of solving this problem.
That sounds really interesting. Thank you for explaining it so well. Now, I would like to ask you, what are some of the challenges that you have faced in this industry and how you have handled it?
Yeah, that's a great question again, Satavisa. So I think one of the biggest challenge which we've faced has been around the data availability. Because this whole paradigm works on good quality, large data availability, a lot of times just making sure the data is clean, it is available at one point has been the starting point for these projects. The key learning which we had and something which we have figured out now is to have an enterprise data platform, and there is a model-ready data stores which are available, which allows us to kind of create a platform view, which allows us to use these raw information to create these models pretty quickly. The other thing has been around the whole ethics, fairness, and explainability part of it, which comes very high for us in financial services industry. So we need to explain everything in terms of why a certain decision was being taken and why it was not biased. So we have defined a lot of tools, processes, and people whose job is to start looking at those angles very early in the life cycle of a model development, and even before they go into production, how to make sure that all the models which we are putting are fair, not biased, and following certain ethics standards. The other thing which we have started seeing from a challenge perspective also is around kind of managing the scaling part of it. A lot of these projects which we do have been around start with an experiment, but someday need to be integrated in the larger business value ecosystem. Initially, we had this whole problem of how do we take an experiment and then integrate it with the enterprise ecosystem. But over a period of time, we have been able to solve that problem, define a process, a framework, and technology that in a way kind of define guardrails. When does a POC start coming onto enterprise track to be integrated to deliver value?
That sounds great. Now, lastly, I would like to ask you, what are the learnings that we can share with the individuals or organizations that are on this similar journey?
Absolutely. So one key learning which we had was that this is not AI machine learning adoption is not necessarily just a technology or a specific team's goal, or it cannot really be done like that. It's very different than traditional software development, which earlier used to be done in that manner. It does require working very closely in a cross-functional team where there will be deep domain expertise working with the deep technical expertise along with the legal, regulator, ethics, business management team kind of working together to solve a specific problem, which needs to move in iteration. So very close to an agile mindset, where is one team owning it, continuously keeping track of the progress, making quick decisions, realizing challenges, and solving it quickly. And so the culture and mindset is possibly one of the most important thing for a successful AI project adoption, what we have seen. The other thing what we have seen is around the whole organizational structure part itself. Few years back, there was lot of hype around how AI will take away jobs, which created a very fear-like mentality that the automation is going to take a lot of jobs, which started pushbacks from different organizations. And now at least that conversations have died down, and we've started realizing that it's a tool which assists. It can do some of the repeated tasks a lot more efficiently at scale, but it is not at the level where it can start replacing jobs, which is there. But an organizational structure where people are aware that this technology is just another tool which will help them do their job more consistently, more better. And there is a support which is coming from top to take this forward is something which is very important for success of a project like this. The third thing which we possibly have learned, and I think is very critical, is to have slightly different development approach for a project like this. A lot of these successful projects, what we have seen is kind of start as a small experiment which get done, rather than starting with a large scale business case and then project going through like a normal development life cycle. So in a lot of ways, what we have learned is there should still be enough thought process around what is the business value, where is the data, what are the use cases. But we should start with a fairly agile mindset that let's experiment with it. Let's look at the availability of data. Let's look at the quality of data. Let's look at the algorithms which are available. Generate a quick MVP, see the adoption, and based on the feedback, let's work around, tweak, and take it forward, rather than having a fairly long timeline where we say, okay, here are the requirements, build a system, and after 6 months come back and show me what it is. So the development approach should also be very experimentation based with the right people involved in